Architects no longer need to work for free. With the right tools and workflow, you can secure real pay projects and fast client commitment without risking too much time. Time is money, and with labor costs rising, being able to work quickly and efficiently is essential. By using a focused set of tools and a streamlined approach, I've also learned how to do just enough to create high-impact design and visuals for securing work. What used to take me weeks in my early career working in the heart of several design firms can now be done in just a day or two, where I can now deliver compelling presentations that win client buy-in and unlock real fees early on. Without fees, we are dead in the water. In the next 5 minutes, I'll be demonstrating 2 powerful design tools that I combine in my virtual drawing board to make the magic happen. You can download the Architect's Design Proposal workflow in the description below. Let's hear from some professional design architects about this workflow.
What you're doing, helping everybody all over the world, really something.
Using this hybrid method and pulling these two together, I've been looking at this for 25 years.
It's opened my eyes up. He opens up the possibilities beyond what you may know.
It really blew me away, learning some fairly accessible techniques, putting them together, sell the ideas.
You've taken very simple ways of using all the tools that we normally use, and you've rearranged the puzzle to create the most streamlined way of working. These aren't just some pretty pictures. They're strategic tools in the early stages of design and the design conversation with your client. They're impactful and can make all the difference. When clients see their ideas come to life in a measurable way with clarity, they're often more motivated to commit and move forward with confidence. So in order to understand the process, we need to take a look at my virtual workflow and design strategy. And obviously, we meet with the client many different times. And each time we meet with the client, there needs to be a process in place that helps us reiterate design very quickly. Let's jump into our workflow. So this is my suggested workflow and my virtual drawing board. And this is the way I traditionally work. And obviously, in the beginning of all projects, we need a schematic plan. And I normally use CAD or SketchUp to produce a 2D CAD image. But once we've got a 2D CAD image, then we bring the foundational plan into Revit. And once we have got it into Revit, then we do our design modeling. We do 3D modeling where we tweak the design and we get it looking good. And then I bring it into SketchUp. Now, SketchUp's a very powerful tool because what happens in SketchUp is I can take a look at the Revit model that was produced in Revit and I can tweak it and fix it up. And once I do that, I can go back into Revit and make some more design changes. And this process is a recurring process that works as a design board. So this process over here is extremely powerful. It's not a linear process, but it is the virtual drawing board where you get to reconstruct, redesign, reiterate your models by using these two softwares, Revit and SketchUp. They work together like a brother and a sister. There's an unbelievable symbiotic relationship between these two softwares. Once we've finished our main design iterative process, which I call the virtual drawing board, then obviously we can go and jump into our rendering softwares, and they're our real-time rendering softwares. We've got our artful sketch-like render, which is a more natural way of rendering. We have our artificial intelligence, which is really happening at the moment on the web. And then we have our traditional methods of old, which we can use to render as well. But once we've rendered our imagery, then we can take our renders into Photoshop for finalization. We get into post-production where we soften our images, we can airbrush them, we can bring them to life in different ways, we can edit stuff out. And then once we've done that, then we can jump into finalizing our imagery. By combining these two powerful tools in a symbiotic relationship, we achieve a more powerful result by overlapping the strengths of these particular softwares together. And obviously Revit is extremely powerful. Why?
because it has a messing tool within it. Now, it's unique to Revit. I haven't found this tool anywhere else. But when we use Revit, we can reiterate design so quickly that it's unbelievable, because it's parametric, it's got walling systems, and it's very exact and precise. Where SketchUp is a tool that helps us visualize our 3D Revit model and also helps us tweak the design. So what we're presently looking at is an office park scenario with a mass of the actual office building, which is 4 stories. It sits on a canteen area, which is square, but the actual office space, which rises 4 stories above the ground, is a wedge shape. And we're going to work with this mass. I can show you how it works. In the foreground here is a water reservoir that also has a fountain. And then we've got public parking for the cars and the workers that come to this campus to work every single day. So let's go and take a look at how massing works. We're going to manipulate this mass. We're going to pull it. We're going to push it. So you can ultimately model the mass by pushing and pulling all aspects of the mass. And we can also add all the level lines of the floors and elevation to the mass. So now we've got the floor areas associated to each floor cutting through the mass. And that's a very powerful tool, because once we've got something like this in play, we can go and add concrete slabs to these areas. And then we can absolutely update our model by hitting create floor. And then we've got floors in our model. Now, the beauty about Revit is you can reiterate your design. And I'm going to push this backwards so you can see that the slabs are sticking out here. I'm going to push this backwards as well. And you can see that these slabs are not sitting where they should be sitting. And simply what you can do with Revit is you can just click on the slabs and you can update to your mass, and it will fit back into place where your mass has moved. Very, very powerful tool for reiteration. And that's the power of Revit and massing. The next step is we can also add walls in the massing function to the Revit model. And this gives us the ability to start enclosing the mass. And we can also update these walls according to different things that may transpire in the future. For instance, as we lift the model, then we've lifted the model in the front here, we can update this wall and it will stick to the mass. And it becomes a very powerful tool. When reiterating design, you can completely attach walls and detach walls. We can hit this to update again. And once again, you can see it moves to that height. And then there are curtain panels, which are mullions and glass mixed, and they give us a grid structure where we can set up glass facades in our model. Extremely powerful tool. And also we can reiterate with the mass in the same way with these curtain panels. We can move the facades backwards and forwards and so on and so forth, and eventually come up with something very seductive. This is the final mass. We've got balustrading here. We've got balconies on the facade of this wedge-shaped building. We've got an outdoor area here on the roof of the canteen. And then we've got this covered patio, which will host hundreds of tables so people can enjoy the weather outside. And then we have this particular reservoir, which will be filled up with water and look absolutely fantastic. Let's jump into SketchUp to see how the curtain wall systems on the front of this building actually work with SketchUp. So I imported the model from Revit into SketchUp, and it came in looking like this, really beautiful. If you take a look at the detail, it's just absolutely magnificent. I have, however, tweaked a few things. I have turned these single columns into dual columns and also rafters that are poking out there. But as you can see, you can tweak things in SketchUp now. And because they resemble the family systems in Revit, then you are able to tweak your buildings in a similar way. So you change one and all of them will differ. You can also model in SketchUp where you can tweak your design and looks pretty amazing. So let's just go and tweak it. You can see all the other components changed with regards to that design change. Very, very powerful tool to help you iterate design. You can see I've also put horizontal louvers on this particular model just to give it that extra bit of punch, and it's looking magnificent. The last phase of this process is to realize that you need entourage. There's no ways to relate to a model when it looks very bare without any foliage or cars. So I'm just going to switch on what I did previously, otherwise it'll take too long, and you can take a look at how this model comes to life with everything that gets added. You get a feeling for the scale of it by simply adding the entourage to the process, and you achieve this magnificent look and feel. So once we get into our final model and we look for the perfect views to save, and these views are very powerful because these are the views that are going to get our clients to buy in. But once we've found the perfect view, then we are going to jump in to Photoshop to put everything together. You can download the design proposal workflow PDF in the description below. Let's take a look at how amazing this image comes out in a high resolution. This is just using SketchUp and Photoshop. There's no AI here. This is completely done by hand, and you can see the people, the plants, the cars, the magnificent feeling that you get from the line work from SketchUp and mixing Photoshop together. So there's no need for any accessories to add to your process. Each individual image needs to be brought into Photoshop separately and edited a little bit. And this is the type of quality that we can achieve by combining a few quick tools to get this amazing handcrafted looking image. So maybe now you can understand how to create more compelling work in an easier way upfront to get your clients to buy in as fast as possible. When you show them work like this, then it really gets the juices flowing. What I wanted to suggest is you could download this workflow in the description below. Simply click the link in the description below. I hope you found value in this training. And what I wanted to suggest is the next step is a clever psychological trigger to get your clients to buy into projects. Do you use animation? Do you show them a PDF on a computer screen? Or do you simply use print media? Take a look at this next training where I'll show you exactly the methods that I use to 10x my project acquisition rates. Simply take a look at this video.